Hello guys, what's up and welcome back to another video, and this is the video where I make dubstep from scratch. And if you haven't watched the previous episode, please do consider watch the first part. I have already put the playlists on my channel, so go check them out. And anyways, in this video we're gonna continuing the dubstep from scratch series, and in this video we're gonna be talking about the sound design of the dubstep bass I made, because on the first part of the video I didn't really explain that much because I don't want it to be a long video. This is the video where I show you how I design my dubstep basses. So let's go. First of all, I'm using Serum. This is the first bass. As you can see here, let's hear it. Oh, and anyway, in this video I'm gonna be showing you the rack that I use on every dubstep basses I made. Okay, so I call it thick rack because this rack is really thick. We're gonna turn it off. Let's hear the difference. Not really good. Okay, we'll explain the rack later on. We're gonna stick to the sound design first. First of all, I got this from Virtual Riot Wavetables Volume 2. It's called FM Square 1. And I automate the volume with the level 1 to the levels and the FM from B. So I frequency modulate the oscillator B to A. This is just a sine wave, basic shape, and put 7 semitones. And also the LFO1 goes to the cutoff. I'm using the HN12. And the frequencies here, there are 2 notch that that makes the yo-yo effect. It's basically just follow the level and the cutoff. So, and on the level 2 we got modulation on wavetable position of the oscillator A. Oh, and turn the oscillator A an octave down here, and I also turn on the key tracks. So what key track does is the filter will occur in the certain key of the key you are playing. So it's basically move the filter to the frequencies that the keys you are in, if that makes sense. If you are struggling with my explanation and if you don't understand something, just leave a question in the comment section down below. I try my best to help you guys and to answer all of your questions. So anyway, moving on. In the FX, this is where all the things happen. I turn on the hyper dimension. I turn up mix to about 50 to about 30. I turn the size down and the mix about 30, 25 to 30. And I got distortion on the 2 preset. Turn the drive to 56 and the mix all the way up. I turn on the flanger, rate all the way down, depth being modulated by a level 1 from 0 to 32, fit at 36, phasing just leave it at default, and mix about 70%. I got this compression with multiband on, which is basically just OTT, and just turn the gain up to 6.2 dB. If it's red on the serum, do not be worried because I already have a rack that just compress all this sound so it doesn't too loud. And last we got filter with the flanger plus. Cutoff is basically at default position, and I modulate. I put the RAS at 90 and modulate it by 18. Turn the drive up a little bit, about 12, and also modulate the mix from 0 to 38%. So this is the first bass. And let's go to the second basses. Okay, here we are. We got dissonant also from VR Wavetables Volume 2 dissonant. By the way, Virtual Riots makes the best wavetables, but if you don't have any money, just use the default Serum preset. It's really fire, by the way. Okay. I turn the octave, an octave down, and this is just sine wave. The LFO one modulate the level and the filter, and the filter is Pt.5. It's modulated the cutoff and the frequencies, so the notch almost hits together. I also do an FM from B, but did not modulate, and that's just basically it. Let's move on to the FX. I got hyper dimension, put the mix to 18 size all the way down, and the mix to 22. Also the distortion tube about 64 and the mix all the way up. Chorus rate at 0. Delay at 0.6 millisecond, and this is then delay 2 at 0.5 millisecond. The depth is 2 milliseconds. Feed is 50%, and the low pass filter is all the way up, and turn down the mix to about 30. I'm adding a delay, turning off the BPM and the link. And the left and right is slightly different. The left is 11 millisecond, I think, and this is 30.6 millisecond. On the ping pong delay and mix about 20, and the feedback is 40. So it gives the ringy sound at the end. If you are using headphones, you can hear it. It's give the rings at the end. And also the same with compressor. Turn on the multiband, mix all the way up, and turn up the gain to about 6.9 just to make it loud. And calm filters. Oh, I forgot that I modulate the wavetable position of oscillator A with this shape with LFO 2. Okay, back again with the filter. I got the calm filters modulated by LFO 3. The cutoff is about 22 Hz and modulated about 9. And the rate is a half, while all of these are a quarter. Put all of those on triggers. I turn the resonance all the way down, the drive just a little bit, about 11%, and the mix also modulated by LFO 3 from middle 50 to 100. And I got a macro on the calm filter, so I can modulate this and create animation clip in the playlist. Okay, and I think that's it. Now let's head over to the rack. This is the sound without a rack. And this is with the rack. It's more beefier and more glued together, in my opinion. So let's open the rack. Here I got the OTT. Basically just turn the depth to 80. Not messing around with all of other knobs, just turn the depth to 80. I have an EQ to cut the low. I cut 100 Hz below. So everything that below 100 Hz got cut. And wave shaper with fast this one preset. It's just basically to distort. And I've got the reverb not for the reverb thing. It's just to give some room and dimension to the basses. I have the low cut about 1000 Hz and a high cut about 5.6 kHz. I turned down the decay time so little, about 0.4 second. And the size about 15. And turn the wet level to about 10. And I got the dimension expander. And OTT and dimension expander is a must-have if you are making dubstep, because it's free and it's very useful. Dimension expander, turn the dry to about 30 and the size to 7. And next is compressor, just basic compressor. The ratio is 3. The release has no attacks, and the threshold is minus 12.5 dB, and the gain 2 decibel. And that's pretty much it. And you can save the preset and call it whatever you want. And this is very helpful. So when you make dubstep bass, don't worry if it sounds weak when it's without the rack. And when the rack's on, it's really powerful, glued, and beefier. So I think that's pretty much it for this video. Just a quick tutorial and continuing the series of how to make dubstep from scratch. If you have some question and if there's any part that you don't understand in this video, just leave a question in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you'll get notified when I upload a video. Also, if you find this video really helpful, give me some thumbs up. You can also follow me on other social media, link in the description down below. And I think that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye and peace.